Okay, welcome or welcome back, depending on which one is appropriate for you. I'm going to do another one of these drafts, so let's just get started straight away. Scheming symmetry, not something I'm remotely interested in. I just can't imagine why anyone would actually play that, certainly not in limited anyway. Looking through the rest, I don't normally play Medium Golem, but I know other people have a lot of luck with it. It doesn't tie me down to any one colour, so that's good. Growth Cycle worked really well for me last time, and Winged Words is something that I've not played, but again seen used to really good advantage. But I'm just going to take the Meteor Golem, see where we end up with that one. So. Situational protection from black is nice, but not amazing. Spectral Sailor, really good one. Seen that used again really powerfully in blue decks before. Tonebound Lich as well is one again I've not actually used myself, but I've seen it used to great effect. The rest of the deck, Goblin Smuggler, nice one if you get something that you can easily smuggle in, especially if you can boost it. Bow, I like the bow. Paradise, that's great for splashing, but I don't even know what colour I'm in yet. And then Plummet, again, shouldn't really main deck it, but it would have been really useful in my last run through. Siphon's good, Necromancer's decent. It's not a bad pack. Lots of good black cards. I am going to try and take the Tonebound Lich. Let's see if I can make this work for me. So, on that basis, I could go for a Cerulean Drake. I'm not hugely inspired by that. Aether Gust, I think it's just too situational to main deck in best of one. Has to be done against a red or green deck, and otherwise it's just a dead card. Blade Brand, really, really nice. In fact, Blade Brand might be my pick here, looking at it. Yeah, Cerulean Drake, and it's blue, so it's in colour with Tonebound Lich, but it's again, it's situationally powerful. If you're against a red deck, it's great. If you're not against a red deck, I suppose the counter's pretty decent, but it is only against me rather than my creatures, and most spells are not targeting me. So I'm going to go with the Blade Brand, see what happens. Okay, now this is straight away two uncommons that are quite good for what I'm going into already. So yeah, Brineborn Cutthroat didn't work fantastically last time, but I think I took it quite late, so we didn't get many instants and flash cards, whereas I've already got the Blade Brand and hopefully can pick up something more. Scourger, I always get this wrong when I'm playing it. I always think it does damage to any target rather than to the opponent or Planeswalker, so I always misplay it and end up kicking myself for it, but it is a decent card. It's quite a lot of damage potentially if you've got a lot of creatures on board. And Season of Growth, I've had great luck with that in the past. Maybe it's not indicative, but it's been good for me. Duress, terrible. Octoprophet, brilliant. Fathomfleet Cutthroat, also pretty decent. But at the moment I've got no real means of activating it except by a Meteor Golem that's already on the board, so I think I'm going to go with the Brineborn Cutthroat and try to pick up a few more instants maybe. We'll see what happens. So I'm not going to use Veil of Summer. Colossus Hammer, I still love the idea of making it work, but I just don't think it's likely to happen. Out of this lot, I think my choice is probably between Anticipate and Heartpiercer Bow. Heartpiercer Bow is absolutely fantastic if you get loads of them. Brilliant if you're dealing with a load of 1/1s or X1 creatures. But Anticipate lets me get something out a bit quicker and siphon through what's in the library. So there's a couple of options there. I like the idea. I think I like the idea of the bow. It gives me a bit more flexibility, and again, I'm not strictly blue-black yet, and this is open to more decks, so I think I'm going to take that for the time being and see where we go. Someone's obviously a bit impatient there. I think out of this one it's either Blood Burglar or Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. I'm going to go with Fathom Fleet Cutthroat because it works really well with Heart Piercer Bow, because this does 1 damage to anything when I'm attacking with a creature, and then this kills anything that's taken damage, so it's a good option to attach that to something you don't mind dying, attack, and you can attack into a very powerful creature and then finish it off in the same turn. So that's what I'm going to go for this one. Potentially a powerful end game play, but at 6 mana most decks are not going to be holding an awful lot in hand anymore, so you probably get rid of something really good, but the trouble is if they've obviously emptied almost everything, it's not that useful. Epicure of Blood is decent, Undead Servant is decent, especially if you can pick up multiple copies, and Evolving Wilds is obviously very nice if you happen to pick up a 3rd colour and you want to splash into that. I'm not super excited about either of these. The other one on colour is this one. Again, not super excited. So I'll take the Evolving Wilds at this point and hope that I find something that makes it useful. So I talked earlier about the Anticipate. That's come back, or that's not come back, but it's available here as well. Befuddle, not hugely impressed. Skeleton is potentially really good. That could be the thing that attaches the bow to it and then gets sacrificed into all sorts of big creatures. So I think I'll take that for the time being. From here, not a hugely exciting pack. On colour we have Sage's Road Denizen, potentially good, but I don't know. I mean, I might as well take it, because this one I haven't really seen much use for it. I suppose again it's quite useful if you attack with something like Tonebound Lich, and the opponent blocks it with something big that they don't mind dying, or indeed if you use this. Or use anything with Heart Piercer Bow. I suppose it could be powerful, but blue-black has a lot of graveyard searching anyway, so I'll take this for the moment and see what else I can get. Here, while Unholy Indenture is quite decent and Convolute is situationally very powerful, again I'm just going to go all in on the Heart Piercer Bows. If I can get a number more, I'll be really, really happy with that. Here, I mean, Charge and Heroism, decent but off colour. So I think I'm going to be taking the Sorcerer here. It's decent on defence, it's relatively early, and it could be useful. I'll take a Fortress Crab. I'll probably drop it straight into the sideboard because I can't see myself using that. Vampire though, that could be usable. And I'm going to take that Zephyr Charge, because again it could be a game winner like it was last time. Yoke Dogs straight into the sideboard. So come on, a blue-black mythic rare. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something that I could take here. That's potentially very powerful. It is a 6-drop. So it has to be something that I want to play, but it would work very, very nicely with something like Meteor Golem, which destroys a target non-land permanent. No, it wouldn't work well with Meteor Golem because Meteor Golem then wouldn't have anything to kill. But what else would I be looking at here? So I could get that Anticipate, could get another Blade Brand. To be perfectly honest, I think Flood of Tears. Let's see how it works. Dread Presence. Now that is a wonderful rare to see for a black deck. Does make me want to lean more towards black than blue, and at the moment my highest casting cost is a 2 blue, so I'd want to keep some of that, but I can't really turn this one down because it's got the potential to deal 2 damage to something, give me 2 life, and then potentially if I can cast a Cutthroat on the same turn I can kill anything. So I think this is a solid pick. I'm not going to be happy not going to be unhappy to play that. Right, a thief is excellent. I don't think I need another Zephyr charge. An unsummon again is nice because I can use it and it's going to work on Brineborn Cutthroat, but potentially it might wheel because blue seemed quite open in the last one, whereas this is the only black card. I think I'm going to try and take the thief at this point and hope that one of the others wheels, maybe the unsummon. I love the Overgrowth Elemental, but I'm not playing Elementals this time. Looking through, there's only really two cards that work here. One would be Hard Cover, and the other one, the Skeleton. Now, Hard Cover is potentially nice to protect something and give me an option of filtering through my cards. Skeleton works, but I don't really want to be splashing out massive amounts of mana to bring back Skeleton after Skeleton, so I'm not hugely thrilled at taking multiple copies. Try the Hard Cover. I don't think I've actually used it before, so we'll see. And of course another one comes up straight away. Out at this slot though, I'm going to take another Cutthroat because it's always nice to be able to kill whatever you want and get a creature on the board. I'm finally going to take that Anticipate. It works really well with the Cutthroat. It gives me that extra power on there, and it gives me some card sifting, so that's really potentially very nice. This on the other hand, I suppose it's either Dragonfire or Soul Salvage. I'm going to go with Soul Salvage because there's stuff in my graveyard I'm probably going to want to bring back, so if the Tonebound Lich dies, for example, I'm going to want to bring it back again. Yeah, I'm probably going to go for another bow. The Pattern Matcher is very nice, but I only have so far one creature that's been duplicated, so I can't guarantee that that's actually going to be useful, whereas I can guarantee that that will find some use in this deck, so there we go. I'm going to take another Blade Brand at this point. It adds to the instant count. This is pretty awful for me. Don't want anything here. Take an Infuriate perhaps. Put it in the sideboard, maybe that's a splash, but doubt it. I'll take the uncommon. Might as well just build my collection a bit more. Oh wow. Do I have anything that sacrifices yet? Don't think I do. In which case there's not an awful lot of point in taking Act of Treason. I'll take this, but I don't imagine I'll be using it. And ditto this. The end of this pack has not been kind to us. But we picked up some good stuff there. So again, let's fingers crossed for a blue or black mythic rare at this point. Wow. Yeah, just wow. So it's a decent pack for us. There's Meteor Golem again, which is nice. There's Boreal Elemental, which is never a bad thing to have in a blue-black deck. Metropolis Sprite, decent. And Sanitarium Skeleton, wouldn't really like that, but could do. But there's nothing here that I look at and go, yeah, it's going to make or break this deck. And I do want another Cavalier of Flame for Constructed, so I am going to take that. It's not the smart play, but it's the play that I'm going to make at this point anyway. And that's even worse, because I don't even have a Cavalier of Dawn yet. But this time, I mean, Anticipate's nice, but it's probably the only thing that I'm really looking at here. Maybe Gorging Vulture, but I've not got much that synergizes with the graveyard because of the Soul Salvage is really the only thing I've got. So I'll just take the Cavalier for my collection. And now I'm going to have to work pretty hard to find some stuff that really works here. So Blade Brand here. I may take a Blight Beetle actually, although it's situational. as in opponent really has to have either green or stuff that adds +1/+1. That does cover quite a large proportion of the cards that I'm likely to come against. And on top of that, what else am I going to pick? Fortress Crab isn't exciting. Frilled Sea Serpent is very expensive, comes up against Flood of Tears. Another Sorcerer wouldn't be bad, but it's not amazing. So another Soul Salvage wouldn't be bad, but not amazing. And I wouldn't really want to play a Stone Golem unless I can. Captivating Gaia is potentially interesting, but bouncing 3 creatures, yeah, it's not bad, but it's no Flood of Tears, which bounces all creatures. So, yeah, I'll take the Blight Beetle. For this one, I'm going to take the War Chief, because I do like stuff that grows, and I especially like stuff that grows when the opponent does something that leads to a win. So if they're trying to damage me and I've got this out, at least I've got a threat that's growing constantly. Now, because I've got less stuff that that grabs stuff out of the graveyard, I think I am going to take the Salvager of Ruin, because that could bring back something that's useful. Now, Unsummon, potentially nice bit of tempo, nice bit of card advantage. I think I'll probably end up taking that here. I think I'm running a little bit light on creatures early, so that is a bit of an issue. In fact, I might be running quite light on creatures in general. So maybe over Unsummon I should take Blood Burglar. I think that actually might be the play here. Yeah. Not a particularly exciting hand. You know, Mind Rot is probably one of the better ones here, and it's not a fantastic card for me. It's not at instant speed, so it doesn't help my Brineborn Cutthroat. But it can get rid of a couple of cards. Still, I may go for the Zephyr Charge, because I can imagine the Zephyr Charge plus something like the Vengeful War Chief could be a really, really nice game ender if the opponent doesn't have flyers or reach creatures. And I think I just prefer this to Mind Rot. I'll take another creature. It's a 2-drop, and it's potentially doing 2 damage a turn. That's pretty decent. And I'm going to take my Anticipate. I suppose I'll take the Stone Golem. It's the only thing that's likely to see play. Although, that said, I'm at 30 cards. There's not an awful lot that I want to cut. I'll take that for the collection. I'm not going to use a Stone Golem. Fine. I'll play a Sea Serpent to give me something else that's unblockable and might get out of the cards on a Flood of Tears. Epicure of Blood, is it useful? Do I gain life with anything? It only really combines with my Blood Burglar, doesn't it? There's nothing else on there where I gain life. So I don't think that's particularly helpful. It is a 4/4, which is not bad, but it comes out at the same sort of level as this, and that's better if I'm not able to gain life. So I think I'll just bring out another Serpent at this point. It's 1 mana more for a creature that has more utility. So we'll see if I can get that. There's another Zephyr Charge. So 3 Zephyr Charges. I'm definitely going to be flying in this game by the looks of it. So, got some gems. That's always nice. What am I going to cut? So I only have to get rid of 9 cards. Now I suspect that 3 of these is too many, so I'll get rid of 1. Am I going to use hardcover? It could be useful for something like the Lich. It could potentially be powerful. The Lich, though, I'm a bit disappointed, because the real utility of that, in my eyes, on top of the Death Touch and the Lifelink, is being able to drop selective stuff into your graveyard, which you can then bring back with something else. And unfortunately, the only thing I've got to bring back is Soul Salvage, which just brings it back to my hand. So it sort of cycles it around from where it was back to where it was again, at a cost of significant mana. So it's a bit disappointing, but it is Death Touch Lifelink, and it could be acting as a defense creature with Zephyr Charge out because it can fly. So potentially, I mean, it's much less powerful than it was when I first saw it, but you never know. It could impress. Up at this end, I don't think we need the Evolving Wilds. There's no point in having that. I definitely want to lean more towards Swamps because of the Dread Presence. Dread Presence with Swamps is amazing. So I've got to think about, well, do I really care? What's going on early? There's a lot of stuff that I want to bring out relatively early, but there's not an awful lot of stuff with a complex casting cost. So, you know, the first time we get a double anything is right up here. So I think I'd be happy going to 7 and 10. Just to make sure that I've got more swamps to use with Dread Presence there. Of course, Dread Presence does give me life gain, which now that I think about it, I probably should have had the Epicure of Blood, but such is life. Missed a trick, but well, it's not a huge loss, I don't think. Barony Vampire, probably not going to keep that. It's not very exciting. It's very, very vulnerable. The Heart Piercer bows, I am going to keep those because they're potentially super powerful. The Blade Brand's definitely in the deck because giving anything Death Touch is always fun. Anticipate, yet need that. Those also help with the Brineborn Cutthroat if it gets out. Blight Beetle, nice bit of utility there. Blood Burglar's powerful. This one, I suspect I'm just not going to use all that much. And I do have a fair few 2-drops. And it is only to opponent or planeswalker, so it doesn't help me with the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, so let's get rid of that. This doesn't really add to my game plan in the slightest. Thief is decent. In fact, it's fantastic if I can get that out. Soul Salvage, potentially very powerful to bring something back, so I don't want to be getting rid of that. But I do need to find 5 more cards to get rid of. I'll get rid of one of the Sea Serpents because I've got quite a lot going on up here. Is Flood of Tears going to be useful? Well, potentially. I mean, if the opponent spent 6 turns getting stuff out onto the battlefield, then to get rid of it all in one go could be a very, very powerful game swing. So I am going to keep that, I think. I'm less excited about it because I don't have massively powerful creatures. I mean, I suppose, you know, if I was feeling particularly, I don't know, lucky maybe is the word, I could go into my sideboard and pull out Cavalier of Flame and where was the other one, Cavalier of Dawn, and work on the assumption that the only way that they're getting out is if I first draw a Flood of Tears. The trouble is, I just don't think that they are powerful enough in isolation to take a spot in my deck from something else. And especially this one, the Cavalier of Flame needs red mana to really be powerful. This one is less important and would bring back an artifact or an enchantment, which potentially is useful. But I don't think I'm going to try that little trick. I think it requires far too much to go right for that to work out in my favour. So 4 cards left to cut. I'll get rid of the Salvager of Ruin. I already have the Soul Salvage to bring back a couple of cards. I may regret that, but I just don't see it as being particularly good for 3 mana normally. Want that, the life gain. The Blight Beetle. There's a lot of stuff in this that does do +1/+1. This is effectively going to ruin most elemental decks, which have things like Omnath and Overgrowth Elemental. But is it too situational? You know, it's not terrible. It's a 2-drop 1/1 and it has additional utility. I do kind of want to keep it. how about the skeleton? Does the skeleton help? Now, the skeleton is useful because it can be the target for things like the blade brands and can just reappear the following turn. So I do want to keep that. Death Touch Lifelink is particularly powerful, so I want to keep that as well. Do I have so much Death Touch that I actually don't need to destroy creatures that were dealt damage? I don't think I do. I don't think I'm that powerful. So maybe it's the top end that I need to have a look at. Maybe it's the top end that needs to be cut a little bit more. Maybe this Frilled Sea Serpent just isn't necessary when I've got the Meteor Golem, the Vengeful War Chief, and the Fathom Fleet Cutthroats. But what wins me my game? This is powerful because it can get through, even if they've got a whole line of potential blockers. So I think I do want to keep that in the deck. This is actually a really, really difficult choice. I could get rid of all 3 Heart Piercer Bows and that would get me down, but the Heart Piercer Bow is potentially very powerful against those sort of weenie style decks, and it works really well with the Cutthroats, so I don't want to get rid of those. Maybe the Zephyr Charge. I'm not going to be doing an awful lot in the air. And the Heart Piercer Bows, combined with the Fathom Fleet Cutthroats, can bring down the air threats. Maybe I'll drop that out. I don't think I need those. So I think the last one is probably hardcover. It just doesn't really have a place. So I'm not hugely enamoured with this one. I think the final couple of the second 2 decks were packs were much less forgiving to us, but you never know. This could do okay. Let's find out in the next episode of this, and we'll go on and see what the deck actually does. So I'll see you very shortly.